I'm sure you have seen head swapping videos over and over again, and this is how I'm giving it my little spice. I'm going to do a whole bunch and have a marathon here. So first I'm going to show you my technique, and of course there's many others you can try, but this is what I like, and these are the tools I need and use. Blow dryer. Everybody says it's a lot of work, but you know what? If you get one from the secondhand store for like $3 and use it for your crafty one, as you can see I do for this, it's really easy for me to just grab that out of my supplies and use it when I need it. Utility knife comes in handy. Snipper or nail clippers will do the same job for what we're going to use that for. Needle nose pliers are very, not especially needed, but handy, especially in the situations like this where that thing, the neck anchor broke in there and you want to pull it out. So that's up, you don't really have to, you can push it in, but that is a nice tool to have. Ladies, gents, we should all have that for our doll stuff. Rat tail comb is also handy. It can be plastic, this just happens to be the one I have that I love for parting, so that's what I have. Rubber bands, these are the ones from a loom kit. Of course that's not really in no more, so I found a container and had a whole ton of them, so I use them for this. So what I will do first is show you some techniques on each sized doll and how it works and what the necks look like and the different kinds, and then I will put jump points at the bottom, I think I've said, or will say, have said, who knows. And then I'm going to do the rest, and I'm going to just jamble. So you can watch the probably whole whopping 5 minutes it will take to do a few, get the hint, and leave. And if you want to stay, you can hear a little story. There'll be snoring. Panda's nearby. I got some coffee. I'm ready to go. I think it would be best to address the biggest worry and what we're up against for, at the most part, Barbies and a whole lot of the other ones, just different sizes and whatnot. So here's what we're pulling ahead. Don't worry, we'll do that after. But when we pull a head off, it's usually catching on these things. The only purpose of these things on this anchor is for kids' safety. So the head is hard to pull off so that they don't put the head in their mouth and choke. So that's the only reason for those. So generally speaking, you can clip these off, and what that does is make it so you can use this tool, or I use this tool. I like this one. It's a little bit stronger. And does what I could show you next. So there's really no purpose to this thing right here. It's not, well, I guess that's the next thing. So that's off because we don't want the head to be hard to get off and on. Now, if we change heads again, is where I'm trying to go, this makes this nice to not have that there, so that's wonderful. And that also stresses, so we're going to fix that. Now, this thing everybody thinks gives wobble head, this part here. It does not. You can literally snip this off, and it still works. What is making everything happen is right here. So, although this is a comprehensive way of explaining that when we're pulling a head off, if we're doing stress here, what we're stressing is right in there. Let me point so I can make that very clear. It's in here that we're stressing. That is what will give you bobblehead. If a head doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. And we can switch this, but right here. So we want to get off. I'm going to show you why I do it the way I do it, because you want to do the least amount of stress. So that's the nice, it all comes from there, the head turning. Now if we pull, now this is junk by the way, see, cut the legs off for a different purpose. If we pull too hard, we stress that. See that? So now mind you, we're pulling. That's what gives us bobblehead, okay? So that's what you want to try not to do. This really shows good. So the quickest and most fastest way you can do it helps the best, so you keep that stress point down. And then therefore you won't have bobblehead. I will tell you how quickly to fix this. If you do get wobbly, and it happens on lives, I'll go over this again later. How could that be 2 minutes in already? It happens so fast. You put these on them. I'm sure you've seen that before, but me and my visuals, you try to say this to somebody on Instagram. Now I'm going to say, hey, go to this point on my video, and you will see. You do that. Now you see that tightens it up. So when you put the neck on, now you won't have bobblehead. So I hope that covered it. That said, let's jump to the first Barbie head. this is a simple switch I'm doing, and that's what my jibber jabber is going to be about. The difference is I want one with big feet, but I want this body with a tattoo, but I want this head because I think it's prettier. So how do I do it? First off, things always, what I try to do when I do Barbie or any of them is push the head down to the shoulders. So what that's doing is we have this rim in there right here that it gets caught on that T, that prong we just cut off. And when you put the heat on this, I'm so bad at teaching. When you put the heat on this and push it down, it stretches that open. So that's going to give you a better chance of pulling it. A lot of people have done this way really fast. They can do it, and often I do. But heat helps, and I will tell you, there's a lady who did a Bratz video. If I can find it, I will give her credit up here because she's who I got that idea from. That's my number one thing. Now here comes the blow dryer. I like to cover the hair so I don't burn it. Okay, it's gonna be loud, so you just put it on low heat. Hot though, and hit the... So what we're trying to do is just heat that thing inside and warm that up to soften that up the best we can. It doesn't take long. So here's one. I won't talk because, you know, what's the point? When you feel this very soft, you're going to do this really fast. Look at that. Did you see how fast that was? This is hard to do in this position. So I might have to do this in 2 parts. That's going to take forever. So otherwise, there you have it. So now we have this. Now I didn't hardly stress that out. If you can see the difference in color. See these? If you stress them, they turn white. There's next to, see that? There's like no stress in that whatsoever. So now, since I don't want this body, I'm going to show you how it works even without a blow dryer. Which if I don't care about the body I'm taking from, I often just do this. And it's giving me quite a bit of confidence. You know what? I'm using the wrong hand. I might have to switch. So that's how, do it like that. Oh, see? Doesn't always work. So that's what can happen if you don't blow dry. Now this is an older style. Unfortunately, well, this was a great example. This certain year of plastic or time frame broke like this really bad and had this little peg system here. And what a perfect example compared to the modern day. I don't know what does it, but this plastic, and that's where my pliers are handy because I want this head. How this worked out just wonderfully. So I want to get that out. It's just basically that nib that's holding it in breaks. See how much pressure without? Oh, see, now those are the hardest ones. I hate those ones. They trick you every time and you don't really know. So those are the hardest to get past that T. And then add this very weak innard, which you can't see. And this is sometimes where you take risks with this stuff. And that's just the way it is. So let me do what I like to do. Here's this one. Let's put her on. Again, if I have a hard head, this is going to take forever. If I have a hard head, you want to obviously cut it shorter than that thing. If you notice on some of the cheaper dolls, the Playline dolls, that's all they'll have is a molded one of those. So that should certainly give you an idea of, that's why I like my other one. That was way faster. So putting it on, if it's a hard head, I will heat it up to press on because pushing down in here can give this stress. And we don't want to do that when it's just normal. See, this one, you got to obviously get that lip past there. And I carefully do it like that. So she's done. 7 minutes. See, this doesn't take that long, honestly. So there's that, and that will be the same for pretty much most of the newer ones. The older ones are a little bit different. This I just wanted to show in confirmation of the last part. I just want to be natural. This is what I meant by clipping it off. This is how they used to be. This is an old Jazzy body, and this is, I don't know, it could be a Skipper, could be a Ashley, Mary-Kate Ashley, dancing something. But anyway, you can see that that was what they were. Some of these like without that big long thing. So that is very, very normal, and obviously to not get the stress on there is important. Now there's a whole new ball game to explain in here that these older ones like Jazzy and the old Skippers have a ball in there. They're the worst, and they're the ones when your disc comes in and you really do got to work it. So that's to be discussed later. And let's move on. So now we have Darling Charming, a new one that has minimal articulation. I hate it. I've got this rebody that I'm going to use. These are, as you can see, this very similar. Sometimes, and maybe before I learn, because I'm not sure, I've already got rubber band on there, and I've already snipped it for this swap before. So I got to get this one off, and I do the same thing always. Now those ones are very easy. Let's do this. Cover her up. Give her a little heat. I'll fast forward that. And sometimes it's a little cranky, but it works. It is really much better when it's closer to my body. That's making it tough, but obviously it still does work. So I don't really want this one. Now looking at it, you can see I didn't do it fast enough. So I got stress marks in there. I don't need this one, but so no one will ever have to fight with that. I'll have to change the clothes out. I just snip those right away, just because. Try to make it a habit, so anything I swap, I can reuse. So now putting it back on, got that lip. It's a soft head, so that's easy. You can heat it up if you want. I don't. Don't take this one to, oops. So that might have, okay, there you go. I don't take that for granted because the pushing on can sometimes split here, especially with the older Barbies. You've seen how fragile that plastic is. You can sometimes push down, especially the Kens too, and it will crack right there if you put too much pressure. So that's why I'm careful of that. So she was a nice, easy one. I already fixed the bobble. I must have stressed it or came up that way, but she's done. So I just got to do the clothes. Do the clothes over, so swap them over. Otherwise, Monster High is exactly the same. So let's show you quickly Kelly. I got this. Kelly and Chelsea are exactly the same. I just want to swap these two because this one has articulation. I like this head better. It matches. So this is fairly easy. Again, I do like to use heat. Now this, what to expect? Do I have something to show what to expect? I don't think I do. This doesn't need heat. It's just a thing, see? So those are the easiest ones ever. Just squeeze them and you can get those off. So then I'm gonna swap this one onto here, which can be tricky, and pull out your, there we go, perfect. Clean her up, change the clothes over. She's done, easy, easy peasy. So now I just gotta change those clothes. That's great. I will put that on here. Actually, I'm not going to do that so I don't forget. I just wanted to remember to show you a Chelsea, and Chelsea is Chelsea or Kelly, whatever it is. This size is the same. Heat does help, but muscle, well, yeah, let's make that look. Okay, that could have used some heat. I think I just yelled really loud. That could have used some heat, but these are the same. And the same size and everything. So for that comparison, I wanted to make sure I added that in because she was hiding under another doll, and it goes in the same way as that one. There you go, just in case. Visual. Let's go next to Stacie and Skipper. So Stacie and Skipper are, for the most part, they're always the same. I do got a Stacie here. So that's Stacie and Skipper bodies. Very much the same. See, you can see that one is very, very stressed. and that one is not. So that one's wobblier than that one. Okay, I've repeated myself 100 times. So that's all the same process. But now we talked about those ball things. So I've had this one, so I can mess with her a little bit. And I got another one. And it's kind of important from back in the day because these weird orange body colors are so strange. Anyway, she's the Pizza Hut girl. I had her and she was already damaged and I made do. Now remember I talked about the ball? So we can just see, learn from my mistakes. I did the best I could with the ball. So see, here it is. Take that. So I had put caulking in there to try and save that and hold that so it's the same type nib. Now remember that when you get into the older ones, it just can happen. It might work, some smaller Stacies might have it in size and some don't. This one particularly I have done before and it doesn't, but you can peek under there, but don't pull too hard. You can see that's already stressed, it needs heat. But this one, see? Okay, so I'm gonna pull this out because I know what I have. Like I tried to save it even if her neck was stiff. See, there's what it is that. So there's a mess in there. And it cracks because it's old and fragile, so that's one you got to be very, very careful about. So in this case, she's got the same thing. I'm going to hit it with heat. Actually, I'm going to hit it with heat first. This is Old Skipper, and this is sometimes I think you got to watch with the. If it's burning my hand, that probably means it's done. So this one is where I am very much more careful and do that. Oh, I'm glad that worked out. So we got that now off, which is that ball is in there. So you just be prepared. I hope by watching this and taking this in, I had to watch so much stuff to get all this information. I hope that this helps put it all in one spot. For those who appreciate my long-windedness, I really hope that is the case. So that you would appreciate it. So which head was going on there? Which one was the one? It must have been this one I had on here. So now again, you can give it you can stress it by pushing on that. We know that's fragile. Gosh, we've learned that very quickly. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to heat this up to make that soft and make that go in better. I just want to be safe here. Then I will put it on quite quickly and quite carefully. And now you're seeing why I think a blow dryer is an awesome investment. It's not really a big deal. Maybe when you get it very wobbly, you can tell in the older ones. So be careful with those. And like I said, let's try this one. I have two of these. I just got this the other day. She can be, you can tell, but she can be plus or minus. So let's do this one really quickly, just for visuals. Now I'm not going to do her fast because the comprehensive helps so long. Let me get my tool ready because just in case, this one, like I'm being so careful because I don't want to ruin her. I'm nervous, I'm sweating. If you could see me, it's a good thing you can't see me. I'm not doing this straight on. Oh, see, I'm stressing it. Okay, this is a hard position. Okay. I'm not gonna, what I'm gonna do, this is hard to do. I'm gonna give it more heat. If you have to work it like this sometimes for a good body, like this little articulated one. Oh man. Now I will admit the reason I'm doing this on this one, because I know it's, oh, this has got something else. What is stopping it? Oh, this one has a nib. I was not expecting that. Okay, so when you feel resistance, slow down. Oh goodness, I sound so stupid because I was not expecting that. I have only done one other one of these and I didn't remember that. So there's that one. Now, the reason I didn't mind practicing, because this one is kind of yucky and old, whereas this one's a stiff, so now I can even refer myself if I have to, having only done one of those. The key is the older ones. The older ones tend to be the tougher ones. So let's push that away. Vintage Skipper, here's one that looks another broken one. Okay, who's next? I have never done a WWE, so I'm really excited to do that. This is my swap for that. I don't particularly love Asha heads. That's why I'm going to jibber jabber when I do get to the rest, which is probably going to have to be a part 2. I don't know. So many people are going to be turned off by a long video. Anyway, let me get over that and just do what I'm doing. So these are the WWEs, which I'm in the middle on. The molds I'm a little bored with, so that's why I'm making a change. Not bored with, I guess. I don't know. They look short-necked, don't they? They look, I don't know. It's just some I like and some I don't, and they have bigger feet. I have a whole video on that for my Teen Moxies, and I just don't like this doll, so I think this head would look better on that one. Again, we're talking about this body is not needed, and it doesn't have the wings, so I am not going to give it heat. And see, sometimes they come off nice and easy and lickety split. This one I've seen a video on it. Too Hunky, as a matter of fact, did this. So I'm not sure exactly besides what I've seen, but I'm going to do my usual better safe than sorry. You know, I could look, but I know I've seen it. That's why I'm not looking. Yeah, their necks definitely feel different. So I'll do my usual. We'll see how it looks. Remember, if it gets my hand hot, then it's hot enough. Press it down. Fast. Yes, fast always works. Okay, so it's got a little bit, oh, that's interesting. Difference from the other. It's got a smaller thing. So that's just further information on how unnecessary that is, which is cool. I love experimenting, and sometimes I get frustrated when I can't find what I'm looking for. I need to put these away. Why am I using those? I hate those. I was just showing you. Okay, so that's good. Now, what I'm also noticing is this is bigger around than that other one. And oh, it's as big as that one, so it should work. So I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to, I can see, well, sometimes you can feel, yeah, that's really feeling all right now. I didn't put a lot of stress on it. It looks like, see, I can see the fragileness there. Let me see. When they have eyelashes, you really gotta be careful with the heat on eyelashes. Okay, good, because you can burn those, I've heard. I haven't done it, but I heard you can. All right, so that went on. All right. Oh, I like this one. Oh, this is what I can't wait to jibber jabber with those who are my buds, my super buds, doll family. They like me chitter chattering, and there's the naturalness of me. It's not so conceited. Looking, going, oh yes, I like that. See, that works somehow better for her. Maybe the head's not big enough, or in this case, the jawline cut doesn't work as well. Now, like I said, I don't particularly like Asha. I have very few for my play dolls, but this one I like. Look at the beautiful long hair, the eyelashes, makeup. Love the makeup. So now to have her, Asha, it's Asha molds Christy doll usually, with muscles, I think is a really good option. And that's what's been making a lot of my decisions for changing heads. Yeah, I like that one a lot better. Okay, she needs some clothes. Oh, I'm very happy with that. Okay, this, I got a bucket behind me. So what's next? So I got a few of those to do all over the place. Oh, I've never done one of these. Let me try one of these. Ah, and that's going to lead me into Liv. So let's try. So this is a decent body. And it's a pale body. I don't want to ruin it. So I'm going to give this one heat. Oh, you see, now I was being instinctive. Okay, so I'm going to give this one heat just in case, because something might need this body. So I'm not going to get rid of that. Being careful, as I said, push down. Quick, oh good, see that one's working the way they should. That first one was such a one-off. Well, not a one-off, but a one-off on the old ones. Not a one-off on the old ones. See, I can't talk. So now if you want to put that on and off, you can do that with all different bodies. So now we got to talk about Liv heads. Let's see, let's talk about Liv heads. Liv heads are, this is how I do Liv heads, okay? Liv heads you can do hot water and a bag over the head and dunk it in hot water. I have never tried it. I have this stuff here. This is getting long and I might not. The problem is live heads are so hard. I mean, they are like a rock. And I just don't like to take the risk of losing the body because I don't like the heads. I have one, so I have a utility knife. This is usually how I do these. And you're not even ruining the head. If you wanted to use it, again, you technically could. But this is what I do with my Teen Moxies too. So as you cut, you can see where you're going without stressing the neck. Now let me tell you, I have broken these a couple times. So I just don't want to risk it. The hard head, and they got a nib that it's in the middle of how strong it is. So I will say that, yeah, that's just the way I do it. It's the way I like to do it. Now, if you like a live head, then you can use the hot water and go from there. But I mean, if you're removing the head from here, why would you worry about that? So I just, that's me. There's another video, maybe I'll link it up here, showing you how to do that. So putting this on now becomes an easier chore. Now, what I do know about live heads are always bobble heads. No matter what you use, now that we've learned about that, it took me a while to get it. These ones are just automatically bobble heads. And especially because the hole can tend to be, now once I get a Barbie head in it, once I get a Barbie head on it, see, it's bobble head like crazy, always. Now it's easier to get that off, just like those other ones. But I'm going to put this on it because these are just notorious with Barbie heads. Something nice to know about live is the necks are a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker than Barbie. So when it goes to deciphering what to swap on there, curvy heads do really good because they have a bigger hole than that, and the neck is, bigger hole, and the neck is a little bit different size. So these the curvy sides tend to go on the live really nice. That makes some of my choices in there. So now you can see that. Now you can see that little rubber band made that not quite as bobblehead. So that's a mycene. And okay, so she's not good enough. I don't like it. Let me pop it off again. See, once you get that big head off, that hard head, it's quite easy. Now we're getting nice and stiff. I think I've had to do this for every Barbie head. Skipper heads go on these decently. Tall does. Okay, that looks better. So it's a mycene. So that's my first mycene. I just love this face. She's got wonky eye. It's a cute story of somebody explaining these to me. And that's you, Jara. She loves these. And it made me want some. No, I swat. Okay, this was just to do this one. I might be making a mistake here because this was the one. I went to the store, I loved it, I took pictures of it, and then I liked it and went back a week later, it was still there. This one has so much makeup on it, and that's why I'm starting to like mycene. Okay, so I can't because the skin tones are different, that's why I made that decision. Okay, so I have a teen, this, on live body. Did I cover anything I haven't done? Ken, we'll have to do Ken, but I want to say something in terms of, here's an interesting one. This is a Marilyn Monroe, which is some knockoff brand. Who even knows? But when I choose a body change, I look at the hands and the head, not the body. Now, I have like bright lights in here. This is particularly peachy and orange compared to this being more of a pale. This was even too pale for purple top. So I inadvertently had this that I got from China. And this is kind of funny because this is a beautiful, it's hollow. Yeah, I think it was like, oh my gosh, maybe $3. I had tried, I had some failures. I did some dyeing and that didn't work, like this over here. I tried that on Instagram. Yeah, that doesn't work. Rainbow Bright, I don't know how she's gonna get a body. But anyway, I have this one. This was a great body. It's got simple look, it's got just the nib. But it's the one that best suits this strange one-off. Her head's a little bit hard. But see how, now there you can see the difference. This, when I always check the hands against it and the arms. I ignore the body, and sometimes the back of the neck is good to go against to look at, to determine for me, because over time with change, especially the older bodies, I don't know, it just happens. If it's slightly off, it works out okay. Like I have one here I've chosen, I'm gonna do slightly off, although it looks good. She's gonna be that girl who wears like way too much cover up, you know that. So that's, even though it's off a little bit, she has such a strange tone that I can't match her on. What I want one of these is a teen. So she's that girl. Too much foundation. You know how that goes. So this is a weird one, and I just can't wait to get this off. I don't even care. Oh, okay, it went inside. So here is where your pliers, I don't even know what that is. That's got a big head. I hope that fits. So at the moment, I don't have to so hard. That's actually might work to my advantage. So she's not going to have tilt head, but it's just too bad. I just wanted her. This is my favorite Marilyn Monroe head, and I just want to have her as my collection. Most Marilyns look really silly, blow up dollish, and this one doesn't look like that and pulls off with her teeth showing, and I liked it. So now I have her with that. That was just some of the weird concepts that while I'm doing this with you, I had no idea what was going to be in that body. Where did that body even go? Did I throw it already? Oh, there it is. Ah, so now you can see this is, oh, what a great example. So this is a company I don't know, but see how that started coming open? That's so common with the older ones. Yeah, let's focus here. That's so common. So if you, yeah. So that's what can happen if you push too hard. It can split and do that. So now I'm happy I got Marilyn. She could also match on a live, and I might change that out later. See, not fully. Yeah, I'm thinking as I do that. But for now, anyway, I got her, and she looks great, and that body is definitely pale enough and matches her head quite a bit better than that did. Different plastics do different things. She has no tilting ability, but she's Marilyn. Now let's talk about Kens. Kens drive me nuts. They are so uninterchangeable through the years, and that's so frustrating because there's so many that would just switch up and be wonderful, and as well as Ever After High, which is more like the modern day blah blah blah. So let's just talk chat. I think this is a Disney one. Disney made by Mattel. Most are like this. So let's get a good look on. I call this the disc, the disc neck. So it looks kind of like that. If you pull, just like Barbie we talked about, you got to be careful of that stress mark because that's what breaks the most. So that seems hard to get out. Sometimes you get an old one like this who has sticky face and needs to be quarantined, that it starts coming out and it is going to look kind of like this. And it might come out easy. So you just got to kind of pull, keep an eye on that and see what's going on. So see, that one has got, yuck. He is total stick head. Ew. Look up sticky head disease. It's not good. That's why I didn't mind doing this. So now you see what's in there. The nib has now fallen in, and it's useless. You can put this back in, nip that off, and then push that back in. It will go on. Watch that thing. Oh, look, I'm so grossed out. A sticky head. Yuck. You have to read about that. So that is what can happen. That's not always what happens. Trust me. Most times you pull on it, and what you'll get is this disc that's in there, not that peg. Glad that happened. And once you get this off, you cannot get it back in without or if this comes off, this has a regular thing in it, a regular T in it, and you can't get it back on. Just trust me, I don't even have examples because I've thrown them out. But if you snip this off, take your tool and work that off for ones you really, really want switched, you'll have this. And then you can stick that on, and the problem with that is it pops off really easy. I got an African American one that I wanted to have the articulated body, and it happened, and I don't care. I just got to be careful with his head. I'll show you that. I'll grab that after. This is that Kenny I was telling you about, and I had 2 of these, and one I just liked better than the other, and I wanted to, I had 2 rooted hair ones, and I wanted the other one on the articulated body, something like that. And that's what made me swap them. And once that disc is out, putting it back in and in the disc system, it goes in, and you can see the possible stress point if you had to actually, like, forcing that in just as it is stresses that. So if you were actually trying to force that disc in, it would be even worse. So he's still usable. I love him. We are so lacking in African American males that are articulated. Hello, Mattel, do you hear? So what's their one? The basketball one or the cheerleader one? And he's like $200. Oh, I just can't do it. And a lot of us can't. So anyway, that was a little side tangent. So this is him, and that's what happens. I will never mess with these kinds again. Unless I guess if I have to, I have to. But that's your visual on that one. He's still good. Just don't give it to a kid. That'd probably be dangerous. The more modern day ones look like this, just like Barbie. And then they tend to have this one, so be careful. They make me a little bit more nervous, but they do work. Blow dryer, definitely. I don't mess around ever with these without blow dryers. So seeing those comparisons, and then the same thing, nip those off. Now this is an older body, so if you look, some have the sleeve. It reminds me of something in a car, a brake cover thing. I don't even know what it's called. I wish I had good terminology. I don't. So anyway, that kind without the jawbone, like the modern day, is pretty much, you can see it's the same idea. And that's what's going on there. So bringing that on to modern day. So modern day we have over here, let's see, because pulling these off, let's see, it's the same thing. You're already seeing that. So let's do an ever after high, which is new. They make me the most nervous. Same thing, don't stress it out. But they're always got bobbleheads. Same thing. Keep a peek in there. I hate these. These make me the most nervous ever of everything. This one, see? Now we want a tool. Now he's still got that nib under there. See, I hate these. Can't stand them. They're so scary. Oh, I'm stressing it so badly. Look at, I know I did that. But luckily, I know how to fix it. So now, see, if he didn't have that T there, he'd come off, and he's not. These are, and I want this body, so I'm trying to be very careful. I do not do these. Oh, I hate these. I do not do these. Oh, I've so stretched him out. And the other ones I've done, I will tell you, I've had to use a huge, he needs the big guns. I have used a huge rubber band. The switches I made. I did the babysitter boy on one of these. Works perfectly. Oh, how I wish he had had rooted hair. Oh well, it's nice to have a different mold for a boy doll, at least. One hunter, he's... Okay, I'm gonna be wrestle with it like that, but I gotta do it off camera for a minute. Okay, I'm back. It took that long. I had to have it close to when I pull it up to my chest and do it, it's so much easier. So I really gave him a beating. Now, let's go back to snipping those off. So that's just the same as everything. Although, like I said, that one is gonna need a bunch of these. Like, look at how bobbly head that is. That's awful. How many people have stuck with me? Give me an emoji. What emoji should we do? One that if you're on your computer you can do. Maybe a sideways old-fashioned winky, semicolon, and happy face. That'd be great. I would love the input. So like I said, he needs a bigger one. My point with this is that his neck and say this guy's neck are different. Most Ken heads That's what I want to show you most. Most are this size. Even this is a slim. And they have these honkin' necks. So most of these will not fit on here unless you will have major bobblehead. So if I put, let's show you, if I put this on here, regular Ken neck, like whoa. And then this one doesn't look too bad in terms of the size, but for pictures you can pull it off. In general, I don't. See right there, it doesn't, the hole is too big, it won't even hardly hold that in, and that has nothing to do with the stress here. It's just the fact that this part is smaller than that hole, which usually makes the catch. You can put a honkin' rubber band and make this head catch on the rubber band. That might work, or you can shrink. Let me show you how I'm going to show you in pictures how I shrunk. I went through, I wanted this guy's head on there so much. I even shrunk. So this is, yeah, that's on there. That's my guy. His name's going to be Sam. His name is Sam. He reminds me of the kid from school. This was him at first, and I tried just soaking. I'll show you. And then I learned the trick from Jason Doll, thank you, from Instagram, on how to get that neck, the whole thing smaller and that hole smaller so he fits. And it works, and that worked for this one. Oh, the length someone will go to get a head to fit on a body when you want a boy. This is what I went through. I soaked pure acetone, just like that. I want to show this all because this is how much it swells with 100% pure acetone, and when it shrinks down, it does get smaller. This is what I went through in my experimenting, just trying to guess how to make it happen. And I'm showing this because it specifically did make his jawline very much smaller. But it didn't, the hole didn't work to still be stable and tight on the body. I was at my wit's end, and then I had this wonderful conversation with Jason Dolls on Instagram. You can pause that to read. He had a very simple solution, which I did use. A cotton ball! How easy could it be? I will show you more of that in just a few minutes. I talked to Jason Dolls as we were talking about a Mago. This was Farah's head. I'm going to reroute her someday. She had this big knob, which made her hole really, really humongo. And I couldn't get her, besides the funny color being a challenge. She's totally orange from without the flash. So orange, you can't believe it. I wanted her on a body. She's got a big, huge head compared to Barbie. Look at the size difference. And anyway, he did chair, and he showed me how to do this this quick, easy treatment that I made too long. So that's gonna be an example for that. And then this as well, I got a China body. I love it. This one cost me about $5, I think. Color, it's a little hollow, but it's got great articulation, except this nib again is too small. So the head I wanted, which was from this Cinderella godmother, I'm in the process of shrinking that right now. I'll show you to make that fit on there. She will be skinny because this is smaller than even Barbie. It's more like a petite. And then this is even smaller, but I got interesting articulation. So I'm soaking that right now. I will show you right here. This attempt to shrink down the neck hole with Jason's doll tip is phenomenal and made the process a whole lot easier. I did have to get it very small, so it's really simple. You just put the 100% acetone on the cotton ball, squeeze it up and get it ready. Away from the face in case you don't want to mess up the face. That acetone will wipe that face up off so fast, so be careful. And even this is done better with two hands. Just squeeze it and get the wet area on the neck piece only. Don't forget to pull back the hair to help you so you can lay it for a while and lay it for a long time and over again. I did this, say, about 10 or 12 times. It takes about 6 hours before that cotton ball dries out. Protect your surroundings. Acetone can ruin a lot of stuff. Last tidbit of the shrinking the necks with the 100% acetone. Of course, you want to not get it on the face. hence my little get up here to keep it like this and being very careful that any soaking on here does not touch that makeup unless you can do a reroot. So when you've done this soaking, so this is probably about my 12th time doing it because I really want to get it small and fitting good, it swells and it is very soft and pliable. When it dries, it shrinks more. And so because it gets hard, that was my point. It gets really hard. So sometimes you cannot get it on the body. And let me see, how am I going to do this? I'm trying to wipe my fingers. Let me do it that way. I don't want the acetone on the body. That's usually not a good thing. So even though this looks a little bit bigger right now to there, what I've practiced on my Stacie head and this fella here, and see, he's hard as a rock now. That thing is so hard. It even split. I had to glue it. So he would be harder to be on and off while it's in the hard head state. But I will take this soft one and I'm only gonna make sure that inner lip locks under here. And as it dries, it is gonna take the shape of that really good. So I want to remember to see under there, you gotta get that. There it is. See, you can, I hope you can see what I can see, that notch in there. So she's already fitting really, really good. She's shrunk down well. I'm going to make sure I rinse that so that acetone in there doesn't affect the body. And when that dries, that's going to be beautifully stuck in there. Probably hard to remove. And if I do, it is no longer going to fit this unless I shrink it and soften it again and, you know, just deal with that. Hope that helps. For a long time, I have wanted, well, you watch the shrinking now and you see the concept of it. It's a lot of work. It's worth it if you really, really want something to happen. And just for some visuals on that too. So I took this head off him just so we could see the difference and the size difference to show that comparison to this. So I have this extra Dexter body. Dexter, yeah, I think that's Dexter. I did this off camera so I wouldn't stress it. Look at how good I do when I get it close up to my body for pulling and not under such pressure. I will pull it off and do just fine with my what I show you. So that's a perfect example of how different that can be. But either way, even as perfect that is always wobbly. And like I said, we can always put a bigger rubber band on it. Now, my craft room, my storage room, whatever you call it, the throw all room, the attic room, which is my craft room. I'm going to show you that someday. And it's chaotic looking to most, but it's just so much in it. It's just useful. Anyway, I have this bag of rubber bands. I can usually find anything amongst that chaos, but I cannot find my bag of rubber bands. The usual ones. So by doing that bigger, and you can use even bigger, you can fix it up. That's easier than a bazillion of those crafty ones, which will disintegrate much easier. So what happened is this will fit that. That's what I wanted to show you. See, I forgot. The color comparison is pretty good. He's a definite bobblehead. And now see, even with the new, I know this has been so long where there's so many details I wanted to share with you. These pandas napping. Yes, so those are new to us. It's a thing. He's part of the family. She's part of the family. Anyway, okay. So I wanted to show you this because this is a perfect example of now. This is how the Ken Big Necks fit on there, which if you're taking a picture, you can kind of pull it off. But if you're playing and doing, I don't know, I just want particular and I want it to fit. But anyway, the color match is very good. So if I find another body like this, I probably will do it. Now let's look in comparison to shrinking. How much better that looks. Like it's worth it if you really want to do it. And I probably will. I mean, I want, oops, see, it even falls off so easy. Look at how nice that looks. Like that's that one. That has a rubber band in it too, but that's way better. It's worth the effort. Now it'll be a breeze, just like the Godmother one is. But just wanted to show you that that is how bad it is. Picture you're okay. But I got this Rosie doll. Now Rosie has a bigger neck. Most Barbies. She was a curvy Barbie before we knew we had curvy Barbies. And I like the body. I don't want to waste the body, but I wanted her to have articulation. And she was my perfect opportunity to take a female head on a male body. I've been wanting to do that for a long time, but the necks have made that such a challenge. And now I think I can get away with it. So since I only have one of these extra, those are hard to come by, although I've gotten those all at Goodwills, I don't want to mess with it. So I'm looking in here. I want to save this body. It looks like it's pretty near like a Ken. So I'm going to hit it with some heat and do my usual just to be sure. But I want to do this on camera because this is a new one altogether for me. Great, I have the blow dryer wire wrapped around the tripod. Okay, let's be careful. Oh yeah, that's so nice. See, I'm feeling more confident and relaxed. And it happens so much better when you're confident and relaxed. So I'm going to save that body. Because I just think it's neat. I've done that with some changes I've made, like can't think at the moment, but I'll mark this and put this in a bag. Oh, the Northeast Native American one, I saved her original body that had a very hard to match color. So if they ever get swapped back, I have them. So I'm gonna save that. So yeah, look at the size of this compared to this. Definitely bigger. And then if we look at, I think this is going to fit really, really good. Look at those. I hope I've done all the work for you. Now that is definitely bigger, see, than that one, and that's the problem you have with the nib that's inside and why you need shrinkage. But I think this is it gonna work? Well, we're gonna find out now. Oh, here, well, let me do that again. In the camera this time, Wendy. So it looks like I'm probably gonna have to find that bag of rubber bands for really good, but she's still bobbly-headed. It needs more. Oh, she looks good though. I love this concept of something different. How much fun I'm gonna have with this doll. So different from everything else, and I love that. So unique. I'm excited. I want to make this happen for you and for me. So that would be probably, no, I think that's even, so I could shrink that. If I wanted to, I could shrink that neck, but I'm going to show you how rubber bands really help you out. I might end up shrinking that just because, no, because then it won't fit her original body if I go back to it, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to deal with that. Okay, see, rubber bands, how they worked so far. So there is now that Rosie doll, which is rooted. That's another reason I made this decision, was because I just prefer rooted. So now I have my interesting Rosie doll. She's gonna be fun to dress now and add to the diversity that is in my wonderful Wendy's doll world. Love it, love it. So where are we now? Poor Dexter. That's funny. Oh, I love when the necks fit, when they're so, you can't have fun with the male heads because their necks are too big. That would work too. All right. Okay, so I have a whole bunch more to do, as you can see. And this has gotten even way longer than I ever imagined. So I'm going to cut this right here as part one because that was all the technicalities. I've started to fix some of the clothes. It's making me very relaxed, and put it back. So she was changed, has her clothes ditched, and I got my organized bin over here, and I'm waiting for that. And anyway, I'm gonna stop it here. That's all the technicalities. That was long. If you've stayed with me, kudos, and hope I've helped. And now watch part two. Watch part two. I'm going to go through all of these, and we're going to do those together. And that's just basically going to be a jam session, jammer jam, jamming dolls everywhere, talk session. And I thought I could fit this in one, but YouTube doesn't usually like long videos, but some people do. I like long videos. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. See you on part two.